just to clarify, that's the same one that just won both nights at Redemption.
Yep.
That's
and both nights at Dirty South No Prep.
and both nights at Dirty South No Prep, and the Dirty South No Prep final last year, and the Redemption overall last year. Like that's badass. That's insane.
You know, and believe it or not, it's get a lot of shit about the car, man, but God, it really is a piece of shit.
Unprepared podcast.
We didn't know what fast was back then. We didn't know what tire shake was. No.
I'm just shaking the tire. You just
that's
keep
something
going.
that not many people really know about until you get to It's got to be. I've talked to people about that before. I've tried to put videos up to explain to people because you can watch just how violent it is. I was like, man, it'll tear a car up or it'll get you killed. It can. I mean, it can be bad. It's cool though that y'all started at the just like everybody else, like just playing with street cars and one
We
part
just got
after the
faster
other.
and faster, and each car went faster and faster.
So why pro? I gotta ask that one. I got asked that one else. I don't know.
It was free.
That's the best answer ever.
Yeah, it was a friend of, it started out, the car was originally built in '92 by Doug Fidella, and he lives 15 minutes from us right here in Harvey. He had a chassis shop called Boo Fidella's chassis shop, chassis works, and he did a bunch of chassis work for people, and he had some guys that owned a truck company, Manuel Licardi and Kearney Roberts, and they were Ford guys, and they wanted to build a Pro. So he built it on a wooden jig tape.
Really?
Yep. And he built it to run 890 Super Comp.
So just to clarify, that's the same one that just won both nights at Redemption.
Yep. And both nights at Dirty South No Prep.
and both nights at Dirty South No Prep, and the Dirty South No Prep final last year, and the Redemption overall last year. Like that's badass. That's insane.
You know, and believe it or not, it's get a lot of shit about the car, man, but God, it really is a piece of shit. I mean, we had it on the lift before we left to go to Redemption. We changed the rear end gear and it was making a whole lot of noise. And I was looking underneath it, and Jerry said, "You think we ought to scrape all this rubber off?" I said, "Nah, we'll scrape it off next time." And it's probably 2 inches thick underneath.
Golly.
Yeah. And
that's badass, actually. I like it.
It ended up, he built the car, and guys put it together, and they run 890s with it, and then they ended up getting a Kazi motor, and it run like 80s. And they eventually sold it to another guy we know, Bill Weaver, who he bought it, and he's a big Ford guy, and they wrecked it several times and had the front half hit, and Paul Daggapone ended up driving it for him, and he just raced the car a lot. I mean, I was the first one to put nitrous on that car when they owned it, and he was running 8.0s, and he said, "I just want to be able to get in the quick 16." Now he run 8.0s and he couldn't get in the quick 16, so he needed to go like 780s. So the very first time, the way we set it up is, they got the Pro Cubes and all that stuff in the car for the control for the bracket racing. We hooked the nitrous to it, where you could time it on and time it off.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah.
So I timed it on to leave, say, a 10th out, and then to only stay on for 3 seconds and then cut off. Well, the first time he ran it, he went a 769, and
It's still moving.
he come back and he said, what do we do to leave it on? He said, when it cut off, I almost let off. So that's what I'm gathering for him saying, I just want to get in the quick 16. That changed, and we ended up, I think he ended up going like a 728 with that car.
That's freaking moving.
And I mean, it didn't handle real well. It didn't. The car just wasn't designed for that. And they raced it for a while, and he just took the motor out, sold the motor, and put the car up for sale for like 10 grand.
Damn, that's crazy.
And a friend of mine, Scott Henning, wanted to get into this. We was racing all the time, so he went over and bought it.
Man, that's bad.
And it took us about 2 months to put it together. 3 months. He bought the old 632 out of the bullet car that's behind us here, and bought a transmission converter from Bullet, and then we put it in there. And that motor's always been a really good run motor. And I mean, that motor was in there. We ran on the show. It was in there. We ran Redemption last year. Dirty South No Prep. Armageddon. The same motor. And it was a good piece. Which we just recently sold it and bought this other motor. And it's just.
That's a lot of races to go through. As hard as y'all push the motors, to last that long, that says something about build on one, honestly.
Well, honestly, the 632, we put 160 passes on it.
Golly.
We run the shit out of them.
That is a ton on a freaking car at that level. That's a ton of freaking power to make 160 times and not just demolish it. So.
Well, I know, and it was a good piece, man. It wasn't high maintenance, anything. It just was a good motor. I mean, the TPS Motorsports built it, and it was originally an Eagle motor that we got in 1997, and Timmy and them stayed on top of it, and they put different chain, put a different camshaft, and did better work to the heads, and just evolved over the years of racing it, and I mean, shit, I went 427 in that thing in the 8th mile at 175, and that thing is actually that 632. We was at the track one day, and he made an 8th mile hit and shut it off probably about 700 feet. And the scoreboards were on, and it lit up 7 flat at like 140 miles an hour. One of the guys standing there says he must have shut it off around 1,000, 1,100 feet. And I said, no, he probably looked like to me about right at the 8th. And he was like, oh, no way, man, ain't no way he'd go that fast. I bet it wouldn't go. He said, I bet it'll barely go 690s if he stays in it. So we kind of went back and forth and blew it off, and then we come back the next pass, and granted the car went 101 60 foot, 279 to the 330, 279 to the 330, went 427 in the 8th at 174 and some change on that run. And then the next run, I said, do you think you could stay in it? And what do you mean? I said, running through the quarter. I could try. So the next pass, he ran it through, and it went 660.
But that's a little terrifying. just thinking about it, I'm sure because anybody that knows that runs a car in an 8th understands that a quarter pass can be freaking terrifying, especially at that much horsepower. Now, I get that crowd. Like, you hear a lot of people all the time talk about wanting more quarter mile racing. And it's like people don't understand. You're not dealing with 150 mile an hour cars anymore. You're dealing with 220, 230 plus cars that people can't keep insurance on a quarter mile track for some of these cars. It's insane.
Well, it was a trip because, I mean, this is a 632 now on 3 systems, and it went 662 at 217 miles an hour.
That's insane.
And on that run it slowed down because it went 103 60, 280 to the 330, and only went 430 in the 8 mile, 175.
That's crazy.
And I mean, that little 632 ran, man. And but it just, as no prep is evolving and cars are getting faster, it wasn't just enough to keep up.
Well, guys, I appreciate it. I've had a blast talking to you guys. And you guys make sure to check out Fuel Media on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. It is about to blow up. We're working on some collaboration stuff. It's going to be amazing. But you guys need to go check it out, like it, share the stuff, and go check these guys out on Facebook. Go buy a shirt, support the probe. It's a badass car. And man, I've had a blast, so I'm good, y'all. Let's go get something to eat. I'm hungry.
Yep.
Later.
Thank you.